The Meditations of Emperor Marcus Aurelius Antoninus, Book 7, continued. He is a better wrestler than thou art. Be it so. He is not more social and kind, nor more modest, nor better prepared to meet the accidents of life, nor more gentle toward the offences of his neighbours. Wherever one can act according to that reason which is common to gods and men, there is nothing terrible. Where we can have the advantage or enjoyment of acting prosperously according to the structure of our nature, there we should suspect no hurt. In all places and times you may devoutly acquiesce and be satisfied with what befalls you, and have just dispositions towards your neighbours, and skilfully examine all arising imaginations, that none may insinuate themselves till you thoroughly comprehend them. Don't be prying into the souls of those around you, but look well into this, whither it is that nature leads you. The nature of the whole, by external events, and your own nature, by suggesting what part you should act. Each one should act the part he is fitted for by his nature. Other beings are fitted to be subservient to the rational, as all inferior beings are subordinated to the superior, and the rational are formed for each other. What the structure of human nature is chiefly adapted to is a social communication of good, and next to this is the command over all bodily appetites and passions. 'Tis the proper work of the rational and intelligent power to circumscribe itself, and to be unconquerable by the appetites and passions. For both these are inferior faculties, common to the brutes. The intellectual part claims to itself this power over them, and not to be subjected to them, and that very justly, as by its own nature fitted to command and employ all these lower powers. The third office pointed out by the constitution of the rational nature is to guard against rash assent and error. Let the governing part retain these things and go straight on in her course, and she has all her own good or perfection. Consider your life as now finished and past. What little surplus there is beyond expectation, spend it according to nature. Love and desire that alone which happens to you and is destined by Providence for you, for what can be more suitable? Upon every accident, keep in view those to whom the like hath happened. They stormed at the event, thought it strange and complained, but where are they now? They are gone forever. Why would you act the like part? Leave these unnatural changes and commotions to those fickle men who thus changed and are changed. Be you intent upon this, how to make good use of such events. You may make an excellent use of them. They may be matter of virtuous action. Only attend well to yourself and resolve to be a good man in all your actions. And still remember that the external things about which your actions are employed are indifferent. Look inwards. Within is the fountain of good, which is ever springing up, if you be always digging in it. We should study also a stability of body, free from loose, inconstant motion. For as the soul displays itself by the countenance in a wise and graceful air, so it should be in the whole body. But these things are to be observed without affectation. The art of life resembles more that of the wrestler than of the dancer, since the wrestler must ever be ready on his guard and stand firm against the sudden unforeseen efforts of his adversary. Revolve often what sort of men they are, whose approbation you desire, what sort of souls they have. Thus you will neither accuse such as unwillingly mistake, nor will you require their approbation, if you look into the springs of their sentiments and affections. 'Tis against its will, says Plato, that any soul is deprived of truth. You may say the same of justice, temperance, good nature, and every virtue. 'Tis highly necessary to remember this continually. You will thence be made gentler toward all. Upon any pain, recollect that there is no moral turpitude in it, nor does it make the soul the worse or destroy it, either as it is rational or social. As to the far greater part of those pains we are subject to, the maxim of Epicurus may assist you, that it cannot both be intolerable and lasting, especially if you remember the narrow bounds within which it is confined, and don't add opinions to it. Recollect this, too, that many other things fret us, which we don't repute of the same nature with pain, though they truly are. Thus, drowsiness, when one would be lively, being too warm, and the want of a natural appetite. When you are fretted with any of these things, rouse your mind by saying thus to yourself, What, do you yield yourself as vanquished by pain? Entertain no such affection toward the most inhuman of your fellows, as they have toward their fellows. Whence do we conclude that Socrates had a bright genius and an excellent disposition? 'Tis not enough that he died gloriously, or argued acutely with the sophists, or that he kept watch patiently in the Areopagus, or that when he was ordered to apprehend Salaminian, he gallantly disobeyed at all hazards the unjust command, or because of any stately airs or gait he assumed in public, which too one may justly disbelieve, though charged on him by Aristophanes. 'Tis thus we should look to what sort of soul he had. Could he satisfy himself without further view in being just towards men, pious toward God, not vainly provoked by the vices of others, nor servilely flattering them in their ignorance, counting nothing strange which was appointed by the President of the universe, nor sinking under it as intolerable, nor yielding up his soul to be affected by the passions of the body? Nature hath not so blended the soul with the body as that it cannot circumscribe itself and execute its own office by itself. One may be a most divine man and yet be unknown to all. Remember this always, and this also, that the happiness of life consists in very few things. And though you despair of becoming a good logician or naturalist, you need not therefore despair of becoming free, possessed of a high sense of honor and modesty, kind and social and resigned to God. You may live superior to all force, in the highest delight, were all men loudly to rail against you as they please, though wild beasts were to tear the poor members of this corporeal mixture, which has been nourished along with you. What hinders the soul to preserve itself amidst these things, in all tranquillity, in just judgments about the things which surround it, and in a proper use of what is cast in its way? So that the judgment may say, such is thy real nature, though thou appearest otherwise. The faculty which directs how to use everything may say, it was such an event as thou art, that I wanted. For whatever occurs is to me matter of rational and social virtue, and of the proper art of man or God. Whatever occurs is familiar, and suited either to the purpose of God or man, and is not new nor untractable, but well known and easy. The perfection of manners can make one spend each day as his last, and keep himself always calm, without sloth or hypocrisy. The gods who are immortal are not fretted that in a long eternity they must always bear with such a numerous wicked world. Nay, further, they always take care of it. Yet you who are presently to cease from being must be fretted and tired with it, though you are one of these wretched creatures yourself. 'Tis ridiculous that you don't endeavor to repress and fly from all vice in yourself, which you have in your power to do, but are still striving to restrain it in others and avoid the effects of it, which you can never do. Whatever the rational and social power observes as neither subservient to any improvement of the understanding, nor of social dispositions, it justly deems inferior to itself and below its regard. When you have done a kind office, and another is profited by it, why do you, like the fools, require anything further, and thus want also the reputation of beneficence, and to get returns? No man is tired of what is gainful to him. Your gain consists in acting according to nature. Since the gain is yours, why should you be weary of such a course of action? The presiding nature of the whole once set about the making this universe. And now either we must allow that all things, even the worst we see, happen according to a necessary consequence or connection with those excellent things primarily intended, or must say there was no rational intention or design in the production of these things which are most excellent, which yet appear to be the peculiar objects of intention in the universal mind. The remembering this will make you much more serene on many occurrences. End of Book 7 of the Meditations of Emperor Marcus Aurelius Antoninus.